Ghost story time. Today it's two stories about some cowboys I encountered. I live in the desert Southwest. There's a lot of history here. There's a lot of ghosts of all kinds here. So this first one, I used to do some investigations um, with a local investigation group. And I would go along and help cross over after the investigation, help cross over any that might be interested in crossing over. Um, a lot of times the answer is no. They like what they're doing, they like where they're at, and they want to be left alone. Okay, as long as they're not causing problems. So during this investigation, I'm following behind this lady who has a K2 meter and is asking questions and trying to get responses, on the little lights. And we go into this room and I see a cowboy just leaning up against the wall. And the woman is moving her K2 meter around and suddenly it gets lit up. She's like, oh boy. And she pushes it further and it's steady, it's bottomed out, it is just red. And she's all excited and asking questions, and I'm watching the ghost, the cowboy. And he just kind of, and he moves out of the way. He moves away. And so her K2 meter flatlines and there's nothing. And she's like, what? So she goes around the room, she finds it again, and she's like, ah, there we go. She's holding it out. And I can't help but laugh. I start laughing. And she's like, what? And I said, well, you did find the ghost. Um, he's a cowboy. He's just leaning against the wall and he's really annoyed because you have your hand in his stomach. And she's like, what? Oh. So yeah, when you're playing with K2 meters and you're chasing the signal, um, the stronger the signal, the better the chance that you're at or in them. The cowboy wasn't amused. He was not amused at all. I was, but I think I was alone at that. All right, the second story is visiting a restaurant called the Double Eagle, which it is advertised as haunted. Um, so they have outer dining, out of the rim of the place is Double Eagle, it's the finer dining. And then the center hub, which is in like a little garden area, is Peppers. During lunchtime, you can go to Peppers. So I'm having lunch at Peppers. Now, when you walk in the front door, off to your left is a bar. And the bar, don't quote me on this, I think I have it right. It's from the 1800s from Chicago. Beautiful art. I mean, it's just beautiful piece of work. The woodwork, it's just beautiful. Um, and it has ghosts. So I try not to look when I walk past. So after we're seated, I'm like, I have to go to the restroom. So I get up and I have to walk past the bar. So I'm looking down. Don't make eye contact. And I'm making my way. And then I turn into the women's bathroom. So there's nobody in there. There's only two stalls. And I close the door to one stall that I'm in. And I hear the door open and close. Okay. I don't hear any footsteps. I don't hear any movement. Okay. Finish up my business. I come out of the stall and standing next to the door, leaned up against, with his arms crossed, cowboy hat on, one leg hitched up, leaning against the wall. The typical cowboy portrayal, except he's see-through. And I said, excuse me, what are you doing in here? And he was like, you can see me? I was like, yes, I can see you. Shame on you. What are you doing in the women's bathroom? I'm not looking. I don't care. You don't belong in here. And you know it. You need to get out. So, poof, he's gone. I'm like, I swear to goodness, you can't get privacy anywhere. So I wash my hands and I come out and I am looking at that bar and the ghosts on it. I am daring them. I'm just daring them. I don't know if he said something to them, but they were all like minding their own business, looking down at their drinks, looking at each other. Like, I got your number, dude. So I just thought I'd share those two experiences with you. I found them humorous. Thanks.